Throughout my life, I have learned these two things. I can make a lot of money, I can lose a lot of money, and then I can go make it right back again. But when it comes to time, I can lose a lot of time, but I can never make it back. Because time is our most precious commodity, yet it's the one resource that we all waste. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC.
John Coleman.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Besides the fact that you and I are twinsing today,
I know, I thought I'd switch it up.
yeah, I like it, but your collar popping.
It was a game time decision, like literally. Just
I liked
now.
it. Yeah, you're going to switch it up so people don't look at us like, oh, which one's who? Who's JC? Who's DO?
Look at you guys.
Hey,
Yeah, uniforms.
Question for you. Yeah, these are our uniforms, our new uniforms, because you went with the TLOP logo and not the Loan Officer Podcast logo.
Brought to you by TLOP.
Brought to you by, TLOP is the brand, y'all. TLOP is the brand that brings you the Loan Officer Podcast, but TLOP's the brand that brings you the MLO coaching community. TLOP brings you LO Launch, which is a more intimate coaching course. TLOP also brings you a newsletter and a badass YouTube channel.
Look at you
Yeah.
geek, you mortgage geek.
Hey, question for you. I'm not a mortgage geek. I'm a sales geek. I'm a businessman. I'm an entrepreneur, John. That's all I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Yeah, pimp and promote, baby. Pimp and promote. No, question for you.
Okay.
Okay, if you go to the gym
Yeah.
and you have to leave at home one of these items, but you don't realize it until you're already showered and getting dressed.
Oh.
You have your belt, your socks, or your underwear. Which of them are you totally fine if you left it at home? And then which of them you're like, no.
All have happened.
Okay, but
And-
which one bothers you least? It's a difficult question, right?
I mean, the worst is the socks, probably.
Unless you're wearing loafers or flip-flops, right? Or Sperry's,
they don't
like
go-
something that allows you to go sockless.
I mean, I guess you could go commando, but that's dirty. Because how often do you wash your jeans? Once, 3 times a year, probably.
No, I wash my jeans more frequently than that. I don't wear the high-dollar designer jeans like you do.
Fucking weak.
Yeah.
Fucking Wranglers.
No, I do have a pair of Wranglers. Yeah, and Wranglers aren't that. By the way, real Wranglers aren't that cheap.
God damn.
I'm not talking about the Wranglers
I
you buy
know
at Walmart,
the Wranglers
John.
they had in the 90s.
No, I bet my jeans are somewhere like around $70 to $110. I'm not dropping $400 or $500
Okay,
on
because you
jeans.
can't find your jeans at Ross or TJ Maxx.
No,
I appreciate
I
it.
still my jeans fit my body. They fit my waist. They're cut for my
They
body
fit your
type.
body because you take them to get tailored, Dustin. That's
Hey,
why.
whatever works. Hey, we've done a whole entire episode on like how
Shout
to
out Tom-
dress.
shout out Tom
How
Jones.
to dress. We even gave some hacking tips. If you don't want to drop $200 on a designer shirt, you go buy something off the rack at like
False.
Nordstrom.
No, if you-
and then you pay $12 and you get it tailor made. You get it tailored to your.
Bump that. You go to extremes to buy that designer outfit well outside of your budget to make yourself feel better. You know why? What did not Dustin? What did Dion say?
Look good, feel good, play good,
Yeah, skip all the pay, all the other stuff, but look good.
feel good.
That's all that matters.
All right. Well, hey, my big one,
Mm-hmm.
belt. If I don't have my belt with me,
Yeah.
because rarely do I go dressed to work with my shirt not tucked in, and
Mm-hmm.
this is not 1987, so I'm not all about wearing like my white Reeboks with like my acid wash jeans with my t-shirt tucked in with no
That's
belt.
Very specific.
Yep. But today I realized I left my damn boxer briefs at home.
So
Yeah.
there's a TJ Maxx on the street next to a Home Goods. Shout out Home Goods.
Yeah. So there we go. Hey, today's episode, I know I teased it in the beginning, but what's really cool about this that the audience didn't get a chance to witness that we're going to bring you up to speed on is I was like, said something to John. He's setting up the cameras. I'm finishing a call. We're both trying to like jam a sandwich down our throats.
Mm-hmm.
And you said something to me about time. It's something like you're reading now.
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
John 2.0 is now reading a chapter a day.
Right.
And you said something about the book you're reading.
Or something, yeah, something I read was, in more of a business term, is like, instead of having the greatest idea or having the best sales pitch or the best like marketing funnel, the best asset you can have business-wise is time. If you can outlast everybody, that's the way I was saying. If you can outlast everybody, the competition, eventually you will be the last woman or man standing.
Yeah, so you are our inspiration. But it's not just you. It's what's interesting, and this is how the universe talks to us.
Literally the universe.
This came up. I did sales mastermind for a group of the TLOP coaching community. It came up in one of their calls. I did something for Rocky over at MLS Study Buddy. It came up in one of their calls. Rocky had like 65 people on this call Monday night. And then I was coaching one of my coaching students, and we were having a one-on-one call, which I don't offer that type of coaching very often, but I do select from time to time each year. And I had a one-on-one, and it came up, and it was the four-letter word, time. And I have learned, just like I kicked off our show with, like in my life, I can make a ton of money. I can lose a ton of money. I'm pretty good at doing both. I have lost money. I've made a lot of money. And then every time I've lost money, I've just gone and made a whole bunch more back, right? And then, still ended up further ahead than where I was a year or two prior. But when it comes to time, we all are given the same 24 hours in a day, right? That's a given. Doesn't matter what country, what continent, what state, what city. We're given 24 hours a day. And when it comes to time in a lifetime, that's the big unknown, right? That's what many of us are racing against time or whatever the case may be. But time is something I can never make more of. I can't just go create more time. I can create more money. Can't create more time. So many times in business, especially with loan officers, but realtors, financial advisors, sales professionals, entrepreneurs in general, where they go wrong is how they use their time, or where they dedicate their time, or how much, to your point, time they give something. So today's episode, like many of the episodes that we do, it's not mortgage related, it's not real estate related. And you might not walk away beyond like, damn, I learned something that changed my life. Our goal is, damn, they made me think about something that if I enact one or two changes can impact my life, right? John and I aren't going to change your lives, but we can introduce you to ideas or thoughts or resources that if you are in that mode of being transformed, you're looking to change, because what happens? Nothing changes.
If nothing changes.
Yeah. So if you're looking for change, you may have to make a couple changes. Today's topic and theme is all around time. We're going to go back and forth for the next probably 15, 20 minutes, and we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to give real life examples about how I've seen people do it well, and I've seen people not do it well. And we may even throw in like an ROI, like a return on investment, but it's more of an ROT, a return on time.
That's what I was about to say, ROT. And watch how you timestamp this, Dustin, because since it's an episode given on time and you gave it a timestamp, this will probably be the longest episode ever.
Oh, that's a challenge. And challenge accepted.
But anyway.
Very cool. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and get into the time aspect.
Since we've wasted so much of it on the front end. Sorry, people.
Hey, look, we got to get warmed up, y'all.
It was a joke. People
and we have bills to pay.
They are piling up.
Yeah, we got bills to pay. So, hey, deal with it, y'all. No, so check this out. I'm going to start with the very first thing. This is going to be mortgage specific.
Okay.
So this came up in a one-on-one with one of my coaching students, and this dude represents the future of the mortgage industry. And we're connecting, and I said to him, hey, man, how'd you do last week with your blueprint? Show me your sales activity. Because that blueprint, that is the end-all, be-all for mortgage loan originators. It tells you what to do, why to do it, what to track it, and if you do it, I promise you, you will be a top producer. Okay? And he's like, dude, I did nothing on these 2 days. I said, what got in the way? He said, I had 2 911s. I'm like, what's a 911? He's like, a file that went sideways. So we talked. I unpeeled the layers of the onion. The long story short, I said to him, so what'd you learn? He said, I learned that I will never take one of those types of loans in, and I will not say yes to that particular situation or that particular client. And I was like, damn. Like he obviously prepped for the call because he knew where I was going to come, which was over the top. And that was what I was going to teach him. But I think he already figured out on his own. He looked at the number of hours that he worked. Okay. 8 hours on Thursday, 8 hours on Friday, no sales activity, no outbound calls, no marketing, no networking, no lead follow-up happened. He had 2 loans that he could have prevented this if he just didn't say yes, if he didn't take them on as a client. He had 2 loans that went sideways. Now, ultimately, one of the loans will close, one will not close. Okay, so he will get paid on one, he will not get paid on the other. But he can't look at it as, well, at least I made $3,000, because it was like a $250,000 loan in a rural area. So he'll make his $3,000. But I said to him, how many hours? How many hours did you put in? Like, we know he lost 16 hours between those 2 days. That doesn't include the 16 hours that he put in doing the initial pre-qual, doing the actually application, the disclosing, the locking in, the answering the questions, the submitting to underwriting, the pipeline meetings. What did he have to do to convert those leads? There's a lot of time that went into it. And I started saying, break that down into your hourly rate. And then all of a sudden, it was like, damn. I'm like, yeah. I said, so if you ever need a proof, my understanding of business in general, it is my job to help all people. But just by helping you doesn't mean I have to take you in as a client. Doesn't mean I have to do your loan. Doesn't mean I have to be the person who services you. Helping you could be answering your questions and getting you pointed in the right direction, because I had to triage your situation and determine that of the time in my day that your particular situation was going to suck too much time, at which point running a business, that wasn't a wise business decision. So I had to find someone else who could help you, preferably a competent competitor. A competent competitor, because I want to refer people who are competent because it's a reflection of me. A competitor because I want him or her to be bogged down for those 16 hours, not making their sales calls, because I need to be making my sales calls.
Right.
And you laugh, but that's the truth of the matter, that when you're running a successful business, you understand your number one resource, your number one asset, your number one commodity is your time. Yet it's the one thing that we all just willy-nilly. Oh, whatever. That meeting ran over by 15 minutes. Oh, I got someplace 5 minutes late, which, by the way, that's one of my Achilles heels. I'm not an on-time person.
That's your superpower. The hell?
What, my superpower is not being somewhere on time? Yeah. I know it's something that I have to work on, but I have to be judicious with where I spend my time. Right. So in that particular situation, the lesson learned was that particular loan officer learned that there's a certain file type that he does really well and certain file types that he doesn't do well. Like this was for my geeks that are tuned in. It was a 585 FICO on a manual underwrite on a borrower who couldn't necessarily save enough money to have 2 months reserves. It wasn't a clean, good file. He was working against the grain. He was swimming against the current. And it should have been a loan that he just said, hey, look, unfortunately, I'm not the best person to help you, but I think this company can. I can make a warm introduction for you, and moved on.
Where is he at in his career? Is he a younger loan officer, older more experienced loan officer, regardless of age? Where is he at in his career?
He's where he needs to be. He's been in the industry now for 3 going on 4 years. He's generating a lot of leads. He's closing a lot of loans. But it's this time that, and we teach this at the Real Estate Investment Company, you first become effective, then you become efficient. So he has become extremely effective. What he's coaching with me is become more efficient. Systems, processes, prioritizing of time, prioritizing of tasks. Right? Because when you think about time, Henry Ford did all of us the biggest service when he developed the assembly line. Right? Why did he do that? Because he could get more done in the same amount of time as his competitors. If he were to be systematized, process-oriented, at which point he could hire people in, pay them less money because they're only doing one singular task over and over and over again, rinse and repeat, right? The assembly line was the biggest time hack and a productivity hack. Well, regardless if you're building cars or you're building up people or you're writing loans or you're negotiating commercial office space or you're giving financial advice, right? We still have to have systems and processes in an assembly line. Why is that? Because it allows us to maximize our time. When I start thinking about leveling or scaling up, there are certain things that all of us do. There's certain things that right now you do and Mark does that I wish you guys didn't do, right? Because when I look at you, I look at your talent, I look at your skill set. I'm like, yeah, John's a $150 an hour guy. Mark's a $100 an hour guy.
Shit.
So why are you doing $12 an hour work?
Because we have to do the $12 an hour work. So once we write our biography about how we grew TLOP to a multi-billion-dollar empire, chapter 12. Okay.
I mean, there's a certain extent when you're bootstrapping a company that sure, it's all hands on deck. But your ultimate goal should be
to show up
as you think like an entrepreneur. It's like, okay, what if I could just do more of X, we could get Y in return, and Y is 5 times what we're currently getting in return. And then what is it that I'm currently doing that I could hire, train, and hold accountable someone else to do, especially if that was a $20 or $25 an hour task. So you could go focus on the $150 an hour task.
Correct.
Right. And that is everything that we do in life. I look at this. Why do I not change my own oil? It's not because I don't know how to. It's not because I don't have the equipment. It's not. I don't change my own oil because an oil change is like labor-wise. Labor-wise, I bet I pay $50 in labor. Like I pay a lot in oil.
Still too much.
But I pay $50 in labor. Yeah, but if I look at myself as a $500 an hour person, let's drop that. I'm a $100 an hour person, right? $100 an hour. What does that mean? I'm making $200,000 a year, if I did my math correctly, right? So if I'm a $100 an hour person, I'm making $200,000 an hour. I could spend an hour doing my own oil, or I could spend an hour making sales calls. If I make enough sales calls and I get one loan's worth $3 or $4 grand.
Yeah.
Why do I want to? I got a buddy of mine. You know the guy, okay? Right now, and I love him.
Shout out buddy of yours.
He is a lovable guy, and he does get personal enjoyment. But this dude right now, he is remodeling his kitchen.
By himself. Because he went down the YouTube rabbit hole. Leave that shit alone.
He's like, man, I'm saving $9 grand, $19 grand. Let's say he's saving 27 grand. Let's say he's saving 27 grand.
Yeah.
But those hours that he is pouring into that project.
Justin, the satisfaction I have of building it myself versus hiring Lowe's or Home Depot to come in is immeasurable.
No, that's $3 million in volume, right? His average loan size, that's about 8 loans, right? That's about 40 leads. I promise you, the highest and best use of his time was to go out and generate 40 leads, especially the way that we do our business, because our leads come from referral sources. So that referral source tends to refer you multiple leads. So the work that I do today doesn't just pay me today. It pays me in 6 months and 12 months and 18 months, right? There's a little bit of a like regenerative aspect to what we do. In his mind, he was saving whatever it was, $19,000 or $29,000. Me, I approach it as I'm going to pay someone else to do that. They're better at it than me, so that I can go focus on the things that I do really well. And I guarantee you that if it was 80 hours that I was going to spend or 40 hours I was going to spend on that home repair project, if I spent that doing what I do well for a living, I'm going to make everything that it costs me to do that particular task times 1.5. And I'm focusing on just the things that I do well. Like that's another time hack that I think too few people get caught up in. Well, what am I saving? I'm like, no, what's it costing you? How many hours? What are your hours worth? Now, not everyone works in a career or in an industry that would allow them to just go work an extra 2, 4, 6 hours. But I'll use my father, the electrician. My father could have paid someone to do the yard, and it would have cost him $50 back in the day. Let's just say $50 a month.
50 nickels.
It'd be $50. Let's say $50 a month.
Right.
Right. Well, what if he could do a side job as an electrician where maybe he hung ceiling fans and he could hang a ceiling fan in half the time that it took him to mow the yard, and hanging a ceiling fan was still $50. Right. That's just an example. And it's maybe not the best example of how someone can focus on doing what they do well. And then they could spend 1 hour doing what they do well to make twice the amount of money that is required to pay for the service that they need done, at which point the service is now free and they still pocketed, in this case, would have been $50. You know, my dad made 100 doing ceiling fans. He paid 50 to the lawn guy. He kept 50 to himself. In a matter of time out of his day, he had the same amount of time, whether he did the lawn or whether he did the ceiling fan. The difference was one of them cost him money. The other one made him money. So, you know, these are all things that when we're looking at our time. Now, you made a mention. How did you see time? Because you didn't see time the way that I was thinking of time.
Yeah, because time for me passes differently since I don't have responsibility or children, so I can play the long game. But what's interesting from a business perspective is regardless of if you have great ideas or a great marketing funnel, if you just have the benefit of time on your side, you can outlast, in theory, your competition. And along the way, obviously, you want to evolve, become better. But if you have, instead of trying to rush like, oh, by next year or by Q3, we need to have $3 million in sales. If you just set the goal of we need $3 million in sales as the goal and let time kind of manifest, then, you know, the process will take care of itself.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said. And I wish I could remember where I read this. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. And it was a rallying cry for a group of us in one of my companies I'm invested in. And it's just like, we need to be dumb enough not to give up. Right. And that
I'm
kind of
sure, yeah.
plays into it's anyone. I just talked to a rookie loan originator looking to enter in this industry. And I shared this information with him that I would anybody. It takes 2 years up to 3. If you can't, and this is becoming an LO, by the way, this is becoming a realtor. This is
Right.
becoming a financial advisor. This is opening a sports bar, a food truck, whatever the case may be.
TLOP.
Yeah, TLOP, right? We just hit the 1 year anniversary of you and I getting truly intentional
Literally,
with TLOP.
I know.
Like hiring Mark, hiring Nikki, going all in. And we love where we are, but we're nowhere near where we need to be or want to be.
Right.
But we understand, we're giving ourselves 2 years, possibly 3 to make it. But yeah, it's the being dumb enough not to give up. It's understanding that it's going to take 2, 3, 4 years because you are building it as you grow one step at a time. So when you're looking at time, sometimes people don't give themselves enough time, which means they quit the minute it starts getting hard or the minute that they start gaining momentum is when they quit and they give up. And it's like, well, was their mindset not right? Did they not go into this? Did someone not tell them it was going to take them 2 to 3 years?
It's difficult because people tell them, but until you're actually in the shit of mud, when in the trenches of launching your own business, it's difficult to really fathom what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's
like you want to slap somebody like, trust me, this is what I'm just saying all along. But you have to actually like get in the mud to actually know what it feels like.
Trust the process.
Right.
Yeah. Like the number one way to become a millionaire is buy a house and invest in your 401k. Boring.
Ask
but you
my
know
mother.
what?
She keeps telling me that.
Yes, but that is the way to become a millionaire. Right? Drive a Camry, work a boring ass job like a school teacher or an engineer.
Still buy that Louis purse if you want it.
Invest in your 401k, rinse, repeat. Don't look back and just do.
Right.
And then in 40 years,
You'll
when
look
your
back-
ass is like 62 and a half to 67,
You'll be like,
you're
what?
like, damn, I own a house free and clear. It's worth $700,000 and I have another $900,000 in a 401k or $1.3 million in a 401k. Hell, $1.3 million, you're a multimillionaire. You own a piece of real estate that's worth 700, you got 1.3 in your 401k. 1.3 plus 7 or 0.7 is 2. That's $2 million. 2 is a multi. You're a multi-millionaire. Boring AF, but you know what? You trusted the process. So much of sales, life, and business is trust the process. It's being dumb enough not to quit. It came up on Rocky's call Monday night, and I had this originator out in California, and I love the questions that we get because when people ask questions, I'm a firm believer in this, so I want everyone who's tuning in to think about this. When you don't ask a question, but you have one, you're being a dick.
Yep.
Because you're not the only person who has that question, but you could be the only person brave enough to ask it. So if you have a question, you should always ask it. Don't ask for yourself. That's very selfish of you. Ask for the other 5 people who don't have your courage to ask the question. So I commend this lady. I believe her name's Corrine. So shout out to Corrine. And she asked the question. And whatever it was one in which I could see. She basically said to me, I love doing the hard loans. I love doing the loans that every other lender turns down. I love to work with the borrowers that are difficult. And I literally snap called her. And I wasn't trying to be a dick. I just am sometimes.
Yep.
And I was like, what, you don't like making money? And she was like, huh? I go, you sound like someone who doesn't like making money.
No, I love making money. That's why I take on the hard loans. Duh.
Yeah, I'm like, but again, hard loans aren't guaranteed that they'll close. You don't make money unless they close. Hard loans are hard. That means you can do far less of them because they take up way more of your
Time.
I go, I'm not saying that we don't do hard loans because at the end of the day, that is what separates good from great. And we want to be great and we want people to refer us because we're great. And we do all loans. But to lead in and tell people I love doing the hard loans, that either tells me like you love working 20 of the 24 hours a day or you love not making money because I would never lead with that. I would lead with I do all loans, the easy ones and the hard ones. I'm really good at rescuing deals. So if you have a loan going sideways, refer it to me. But most of my clients refer me because I'm an advisor first, because I do not take a one-size-fits-all approach to financing. And I'm going to make sure that your client not only qualifies for a home loan, but they get the right home loan, right? Like that would be the type of pitch I would give. And then another question came up, and shout out to Jen for this one. Jen's up in North Dakota. She runs a branch. She's in the mortgage industry. And it just came like the topic of hiring a sales assistant. Like, well, when do I? I'm like, well, what's the purpose? And the purpose is, well, I want to have better work-life balance. I'm like, okay, well, that's a luxury. It is.
Right,
It just is. I'm like, why else? Well, I want to be able to lead generate more. Okay. Because I want to be able to close more loans. Oh, okay. Because I want to make more money. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, it all came down to who do I hire? What do they do? And why should I do it? And am I ready? And the answer for her is yes, she was ready because she's already funding 5 loans a month. She's trying to get to 8 to 10. She's trying to do it all on herself while running a branch. So I kind of coached her through that scenario. But this was another opportunity for her to look at where her time is best spent, where her time is not best spent.
Mm-hmm.
And then to hire someone in, not because she wants to work less, to hire someone in because she wants to focus more on the things that are more, have a higher payoff than what she does. So there's time for y'all. And it's also, I mean, just random rabbit hole thoughts. It's the wasted time. It's, you know what bothers me when someone says, I don't have time. I'm like, what?
Bitch, you ain't make the time.
Correct. No, that's a terrible answer. Never, ever, ever tell me or anyone like me that you don't have time.
Tell me a different lie.
No, you can tell me it's not important enough to me. I don't prioritize that task. I don't prioritize that activity. You have the time. That is the one thing 75 Hard taught me. Yes, I can. It's just a matter of, do I want to make it a priority? Do I want to move it to the top of my to-do list?
Right.
Or am I fine putting it down to the bottom of my to-do list? So you have time. It's just a matter of where you want to prioritize it. And that, my friends, that's my stopping point. JC, you had something you were going to add.
No, that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
Because we're out of time.
We are out of time.
I literally tried to say we're out of time, but you kept rambling as we normally do. So.
All right. Well, we are out of time. So here's the deal. Iowa, Las Vegas, Jacksonville,
Turn
Orlando.
up for a check. You are not ready for this worldwide, local, East Coast, West Coast tour.
Yeah. Come see us. Come hang out. Come learn. It's going to be fun. It's going to be insightful. All the details can be found on tloponline.com. And when you're on tloponline.com, check out the MLO
Coaching community.
Join us now. We are crushing it. We are killing it. Tons of value. Dollar for dollar, best investment you can make into your business. That's a fact, Jack. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You are signed up for our newsletter. And if you like what we're doing, tell a friend, tell 2 friends. Keep tuning in, and we will look forward to catching you on the next episode. He's JC. I'm DO. That's all the time we have for you today. Peace.